we are as a people inherently and historically opposed to secret society, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is February 18th, 2026. Update time. Second day back at work. Hopefully you got to see the last episode, which is basically where I've been, what I've been doing, why I've been missing. It's not the first time I've ever taken a break, by the way. First time I ever took a break was basically, was basically, just burnout, from podcasting. Second time I took a break, I had some legal issues going on, which, all passed over, because I'm not a guilty man. I'm not a guilty piece of shit. Although people were trying to set me up as one, they did not succeed. Because, I didn't do shit. So I had some legal shit. That's why I kind of shut down on that one. But this last time, just go check out the last episode. It's just crazy ass bosses trying to do some crazy ass shit, and I don't know, just go check it out. But I'm back in the saddle again, so I told you guys on the last episode, which I put out this morning. I recorded it last night, but I put it out this morning, and I'm going to put this one out next. My main focus right now on this channel, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably gonna just be mostly Jeffrey Epstein. Because to me, I guess my top priority as far as like conspiracies is the whole child trafficking thing. To me, that's the most important issue. That being said, I did tell you guys on the last episode, I will throw in like a fun, cool episode every now and then, just to kind of like cleanse the palate of all the darkness. Because, if you just focus on nothing but darkness, man, it's going to drive you fucking nuts. You're going to turn into Alex Jones, or you're going to just be depressed and black-pilled. And I don't want that within my community. I don't want that on my channel. So, because of the Epstein stuff, and I ain't gonna lie, I was focused on the Epstein shit. That's all that was coming through my feed. If you guys are OG fans and you've been with this channel, hell, I've been content creating for over a decade. If you've been even keeping up with the channel before I even started podcasting, when I was just like a smaller content creator doing book reviews and small videos and stuff, you guys know that I'm an ancient astronaut theorist. That being said, I don't believe in the moon landing. I'm not sure. I'm a geocentrist. I believe that all the luminaries and all the stuff in the sky revolves around us. I believe we are the center of the universe. I'm not a flat earther, I'm not a round earther, I'm just a geocentrist. But I am an ancient astronaut theorist. Now, people will go, "Oh, so that means you believe in space." I'm not saying I believe in space, but I'm not saying I believe in the waters above. Who's to say these aliens aren't interdimensional? Who's to say they aren't fallen angels? Um, I'm not going to go on this whole rant like I have 1,000 times before of like, I think we are all talking about the same thing. We're just arguing in comments sections like little keyboard warriors of, they're fallen angels. No, they're aliens. No, they're interdimensional beings. I think they're probably just interdimensional beings. I don't have the Christian mindset, the eye of the Christian lens of they're all demons. Because I've heard good abduction stories. I've heard bad abduction stories. I've heard good interactions with aliens. Um Whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, we got visited. So, I'm an ancient astronaut theorist. And this slipped past my radar because everyone was focused on the Epstein files, and Erich von Daniken died. And that bums me the fuck out, dude. Because Erich von Daniken was like... Let me just tell you how I got introduced to Erich von Daniken. So, I used to think, okay. My dad was a conspiracy theorist. He was really big into the whole, like, Terminator, robots are going to take over, which turns out it's looking like Terminator out there. So he was right on that one. He was real big on, like, stigmata, Christian miracles, like Fatima, Shroud of Turin, Holy Grail, stuff like that. Another thing that he was really big on. We'd go to there was this flea market down in Hudson, Florida, where I was born and raised. I'm a cracker. Um, it was called Flea Masters, and he would pick up like conspiracy VHSs, and he would pick up a lot of like alien UFO. He was really big onto like aliens and UFO. And he wouldn't listen to it whenever my mom was in the car, but I remember just kind of cruising around with him at night sometimes, and he would turn on Art Bell. Like he liked Art Bell, and I kind of dug listening to it when I was a kid. You know, like he was a real big fan of E.T., Star Wars, Star Trek. He was real big on the whole alien thing. Um, so I was raised as a conspiracy theorist, but later on in life, I got older and I became more like atheistic. Um, Not an atheist. I was like agnostic. I became discouraged with Christianity. Um, but I did kind of wake up with 9/11. Like around 2010, I was like waking up to 9/11. Got into Zeitgeist, which was a huge film back then. Um, but I always thought aliens were stupid. And I thought that for like years, man. Until, not trying to rehash it. I'm not going to rehash the entire story, but me and my ex-wife had an encounter with a UFO. A UFO chased our car with my baby in the back seat. It blew my fucking mind. And I just remember coming home going, oh my God, aliens are fucking real. And I remember my ex-wife going like, yeah, I've been telling you. Like, because I used to think it was stupid. I used to think the whole alien thing was stupid. And immediately it changed my life forever, dude. It literally, at first it was terrifying, but it, it was terrifying, but it sparked something like a flame inside of me that was like, what the fuck is this, dude? Um, so immediately I started just buying like UFO books, alien books, and I was working at the time I was working at this place called Beaumont Inn, and there's this Freemason book dealer in the same town of Harrodsburg, Kentucky. He's cool as fuck. He does talk radio AM, and it's like an antique shop, a thrift shop, but he's got a huge book selection. He's a book dealer. It's amazing. And that's where I got like all my occult books, all my ufology books, all my ghost books, paranormal, everything. I cleared out his entire occult book section to the point where he's like, Abe, I would come in and I'd go, you got anything new? And he's like, dude, you cleaned me out, bro. Like, I'm like, sorry. And I picked up one of Erich von Daniken's books because I was like so fucking mesmerized and curious about the ufology movement. And I was just obsessed with ufology. I hadn't even gotten into ancient astronaut theory yet. So I was just focused on ufology, and he was like, hey, you ever read Erich von Daniken? I'm like, no. So I looked at it, and he's like, yeah, dude, like, ufology's nice. He's like, ufology's cool, but it goes back to ancient times. We've been visited since ancient times. And I'm like, what? For real? You know? So I pick up a book of Erich von Daniken's, and I can't remember which one it was, but I picked it up and I read it. It was real little. Most of his books are actually not that long. They're super dense with knowledge and facts and like research like and stuff, but they're really not that long of books. So I picked one up and I read it, and like I could not put this book down. And I burnt through it in like maybe like 1 or 2 days. And I immediately went back to his shop like after I finished reading, and I'm like, bro, do you have any more Erich von Daniken? And he had like, I think it was like 8 or 9 other books. And I immediately just picked every single one off the shelf, and I'm like, I'm getting them all. And I did. And I read through like, I have still to this day like original copies from like the 70s and early 80s of original Erich von Daniken's books. Like hardcover, softcover. I literally bought every single Erich von Daniken book he had. And it blew my mind, and it inspired me. Erich von Daniken inspired me. And without him, I would have never became an ancient astronaut theorist. He wouldn't have turned me on to people like Zecharia Sitchin. Because through him, I found Zecharia Sitchin. And Sitchin is like, I don't know, Sitchin blows my mind. So like, I don't know, it was just like, it was like a gateway drug to ancient astronaut theory. And to this day, I've still never denounced ancient astronaut theory. I've changed my mindset on it. I don't think there's so much nuts and bolts physical aliens anymore. But I do think we've got visited by something, whether you call them the lowercase gods, like von Daniken called them, whether you call them aliens, like von Daniken called them, whether you call them fallen angels, interdimensional beings. We got visited by something in ancient times, and we are still being visited to this day. But Erich von Daniken died. It slipped way past my radar. I didn't even fucking know it because everyone, like myself, was focused on the fucking Epstein files. So I don't even know how he died. But I do know this. So I keep up with his channel. And he was still putting out content within the past like year. And I would watch him, and he looked healthy. He was still wearing the same fucking blue suit that he always loved. He looked good, but I was like, man, this dude's got to be like 87, 88. I was like, he ain't gonna last much longer. There's no fucking way. He died at 90. And I have no clue how he died, so we're gonna find out. You're gonna learn along with me. Because I wanted to save it. I like to give a raw reaction and kind of, yeah, I like to save it for the podcast. But Erich von Daniken obituary, author who argued aliens visited ancient Earth. Convicted thief, yes, he was a thief, a fraudster, and much mocked author was who sold 70 million books by arguing that God must have been an extraterrestrial astronaut, dies at aged 90. So he died at 90 years old. Here's a picture of von Daniken, if you've never seen him before. He was a handsome man. He lived in, I believe it was Switzerland. I think he might have been Swiss. I'm not sure. So, Erich von Daniken's books were ridiculed by scientists as an affront to common sense. By the way, does that even mean anything anymore? If you're ridiculed by scientists, like, first of all, most of them are on the Epstein list, the top ones, like Richard Dawkins and what was his name, the guy in the wheelchair that the guy I'm talking about, Stephen Hawkins, yeah. That and after COVID, like, and the whole display of scientism that was going on, like, do we even really completely trust science anymore? It used to be like science was like, it's the science. Now, after COVID and after the Epstein list, it's kind of one of those things of like, I don't even know if I trust half these motherfuckers, But, yet his English language publisher, Penguin Random House, called him arguably the most widely read and most copied nonfiction author in the world. That's pretty impressive. And his books sold more than 70 million copies in 32 different languages. Von Daniken was a convicted thief, which he was. Basically, if you want me to sum up the story, and a lot of people try to use this against him, like, oh, he's a piece of shit. So like, if he, blah blah blah. He worked at a hotel, and he was front desk and manager of the hotel, and he managed the money. It wasn't his hotel, and basically he had stole money from the hotel to publish his book. I know it's bad. I know it's not cool. And he actually got sent to prison, and he wrote Chariots of the Gods in prison. Kind of like how Hitler wrote Mein Kampf in prison. He wrote Chariots of the Gods in prison from stolen money and published it from the stolen money from the hotel that he stole the money from. In a weird way, it kind of turned out in a good way in his favor, because like, he became rich and wealthy off of it. I mean, otherwise he would have just ended up being like a night clerk at a hotel until he got another job or whatever. But von Daniken was a convicted thief, fraudster, and embezzler who served 2 prison sentences. But his greatest deception was to argue in his books that the gods of the ancient world were extraterrestrial astronauts, and that human history had been shaped by visiting aliens, who had helped mankind create everything from the pyramids of Egypt to Stonehenge. He first pitched his Farrago of speculation in 1968. So 1968. I thought it was 1970, so it was 68. Book Chariots of the Gods. And his timing was, in a sense, perfect. Serious astronomers such as Carl Sagan had begun to argue that humans were highly unlikely to be the only form of intelligent life in an infinite universe with hundreds of billions of stars in at least 2 trillion galaxies. The first moon landing was, we're not getting into that shit. We all know the moon landing's fake. As a result, many came to regard him as a New Age seer. David Bowie, who sang "There's a Starman Waiting in the Sky." There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he'd like to blow our minds. Was one of the many who were taken in by von Daniken's hypothesis. So that's cool. He kind of inspired David Bowie. It doesn't surprise me that David Bowie was an ancient astronaut theorist. I mean, what was it? Spiders on Mars was one of his songs. Like, he was real big into sci-fi. And von Daniken had initially struggled to find anyone in mainstream publishing who would like to take Chariots of the Gods seriously, and hawked it around to 20 different publishers and employed Uterman, a former editor of the Nazi Party's newspaper. Oh, damn! I didn't know he had some Nazi Party connections. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. Volkischer Beobachter, to help him to rewrite the book before the book eventually appeared. With the subtle "Was God an Astronaut?" it instantly hit a chord with a credulous audience that wanted to believe that Elijah's ascent to heaven in the Old Testament was by a U.F.O, and that images of space rockets could be found in ancient Mayan iconography, which they have been. His theory was that Dynakentis by Der Spiegel, and it provoked furious denunciations by the scientific community, outraged. Oh, we pissed off the science community. Oh, poor things. Outraged that an author who made his living as a Swiss hotelier and had no archaeological and anthropological qualifications could make such unproven assertions. By the way, no archaeological. So, oh yeah, we're only supposed to trust Zahi Hawass. Who's the one that likes to go in and steal the bones of ancient giants? Not Nat Geo. It's Hey, Boo Boo. Who's those fuckers that like to come in and steal the bones of ancient giants?
Sumerian.
No, the museum.
Yeah. No, sorry. Smithsonian.
Smithsonian. Yeah. Yeah, those are the archaeological masterminds that, like, those are the trusted ones. Don't trust von Daniken, Every time he sees something he can't understand, he attributes it to extraterrestrial intelligence, and since he understands almost nothing, he sees evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence all over the planet, Sagan noted. So, I didn't know that Sagan didn't like him. See, I'm kind of 50-50 on Sagan, because he wrote, like, a really good book called Contact. There's actually a movie that was made about it where I think it's Helen Hunt. No, it's not Helen Hunt. It's the lesbian actress. Way back in the day, she played Clarice on Silence of the Lambs. I can't fucking recall. She was in a porno in the 70s. Yeah. Anyways. Indeed, Erich von Daniken himself at first had doubts about his theories, although he soon found his own argument so persuasive that he dispensed with the question mark in the title of his first book and was claiming alien visitations as calcified fact. When I wrote it, I was not at all convinced by the second book, Gods from Outer Space. I was more certain, he told Playboy in 1974. By the time of that, by the way, Playboy actually, a lot of people are like, when you hear that whole, I just buy it for the articles, I'm not gonna lie, Playboy and Hustler actually had, like, decent fucking articles. Like, Hunter S. Thompson used to write for them, Christopher Hitchens, like, there was actually quite a few good, like, authors in Playboy magazine, the actual articles. So, I mean, I know it's like a stereotype of, oh, I just buy it for the article. There's actually decent articles in there. By the time of that interview, more certain, he had solidified further into an unshakable and total conviction that he had been visited from outer space, and those visitors altered our intelligence, that we, not he, by artificial mutation. Over the years to come, no matter how many inaccuracies, errors, and obfuscations experts pointed out on in almost every page of his book, von Daniken stuck to his guns. Good. Seemingly not prepared to rest until he had rewritten every ancient religious system to include aliens. All Greek mythology is full of gods from outer space, he wrote. Zeus was an extraterrestrial. Poseidon was an ET. The Ark of the Covenant was built to house a machine given to Moses by extraterrestrial, and if one fed it algae, it would produce manna through a nuclear reaction, and so on. Yeah, I mean, I personally think that the Ark of the Covenant, we did a whole episode on it, where they did a replica on Mar-a-Lago, but there's something weird with the Ark of the Covenant. Like, if there's all these Ethiopian monks who went blind and have cataracts and like are suffering from radiation poisoning, and they're the guardians of the Ark of the Covenant in Ethiopia, the actual one, like, there's something there that is scientific, like it probably was some form of fucking ancient technology. But, you know, I'm a crazy person. As much as experts discredited this nonsense, it did nothing to diminish the numbers who wanted to believe. As von Daniken crisscrossed the globe lecturing in extraterrestrial studies in his heavily accented English, as if it were an accepted academic discipline. Every time his book sales began to decline, it seemed that some new manifestation of popular culture would revive his currency. In the late 1970s, Spielberg, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, was Public Appetites. 1980s, E.T., 1990s, X-Files. Yeah, I mean, people are interested in aliens. What's wrong with that? His death brought forth a renewed bout of speculation on social media, with some arguing that it could hardly be a coincidence that he had returned to the stars on the 10th anniversary of David Bowie's return. In all, he published more than 40 books. Damn, I only have like 10, maybe. Yeah, I think I got about 10 books. I didn't know he fucking published 40. It doesn't surprise me. Mostly bearing similar titles such as Evidence of the Gods Were Astronauts, and The Arrival of the Gods. Yeah, he had his little spiel. Although 2009's History is Wrong departed from the Matrix, even if the theme was familiar. In the early years of the new millennium, he launched his most ambitious project of all, Mystery Park. Oh yeah, dude, he had a fucking theme park in Switzerland. I always wanted to go. It's an ancient astronaut theme park. I ain't gonna lie, I've always wanted to fucking go, but obviously I'm poor and I can't go to Switzerland. But a theme park near Interlaken in Switzerland, in which theories were turned into attractions, in which he promoted as presenting the unexplained yet very real mysteries of the world. I think it's neat. Over the years, he amassed a substantial personal fortune. It would be easy to dismiss him as a charlatan, exploiting the credulous. But this is just like a hit piece, but so let's look up how he died. But yeah, I did check this out. So when I typed in cause of death, I'll show you guys this shit. And by the way, he's dead, dude. There's like article after article after article. I read it on, or I listened to it on Sam Tripoli. He's dead. Says Erich von Daniken is still alive as of February 2026. This is an AI overview. Born on April 14th, 1935. The Swiss author is known for blah, blah, blah. The search results indicate that there are no reports of his death, confirming he is still living. There's no reports of his death. Literally article after article after article after article of him dead. Yeah. AI, you gotta love it. But I'm not finding a cause of death. If you guys know, just hit me up in the comment section. But yeah, it bums me out. That was one of my heroes as far as like the truth community, conspiracy community, ufology community, ancient astronaut community. But you know what? You know what makes me happy? He's with the aliens now. They beamed him up, Scotty. I love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to donate to the channel, I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. And if you donate, message me and email me. Message me first and then email me, and we'll figure out. I will send you a sticker, bumper sticker. Love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe, and y'all have a good day.